Magandang gabi mga kababayan at welcome sa ang Pinoy Facebook Live. Today is actually the first day of June
Wait,
and we are
sorry, I
very,
can't
very
hear you.
excited dahil maganda
Yan.
po ang ating topic sa EntrePinoy. First, I want to say thank you, of course, to our guest who said yes. So this is actually the first day of June at maganda po ang ating topic so hindi ko na patatagalin pa. Our guest for tonight is actually a certified perfume specialist by the acclaimed New York City-based The Perfume Foundation. She also took up perfumery in Europe. So, tatanungin po natin siya sa ibang mga details. She's actually the co-founder of BC Fragrance. They have other companies, so Scentful Living, Scentful Studio, and a lot more. So, we will ask her, of course, sa iba pang mga companies na meron siya. So, without further ado, our guest for tonight, Miss Bernadette Lim. Good evening and welcome sa Ang
Hello,
Pinoy.
hello.
Ayan.
Hello, hello.
Yeah, medyo humina.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you pero medyo
Humina.
humina.
Wait
Yeah.
ah.
Ayan. So, ganyan po mga kababayan pag live, lagi nating pinag-uusapan.
Better?
Yes, better.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
Good evening to everyone who are watching.
Ayan. Thank you so much. First, we want to say thank you again. I know you are very busy, pero napagbigyan mo kami. How are you?
Oo naman. Okay naman. Kayo ba? Where are you from? Here lang din in Manila?
Yes. Yes. So,
Yeah, okay. Yan. So lahat
alam
tayo
namin, so
Manila lang.
busy ka, yes. Actually, sabi kanina nag-uusap tayo, no? Ang tanong mo sa akin, paano kita nahanap? So, actually kami sa Ang Pinoy, naghahanap kami ng, of course, ng mga entrep na maganda yung mga stories, especially yung talagang inspirational at pwede natin i-share. So, ang tanong ko, because I've seen your profile, tiningnan ko yung sa Instagram mo, that's how we saw you. How did you start with
Right.
yung perfume business na yan? Or yung perfume journey mo?
Actually, well, if I'm gonna summarize it kasi we have
Yeah.
only a few minutes, 'di ba?
Yes.
Basically yung parents ko kasi they have a chemical company.
Mm-mm.
So my dad would always travel. So parati siyang nagbabiyahe before, especially ngayon hindi na COVID, 'di ba? So
Mm-mm.
nung bata pa ako, he would always travel and ang usual na pasalubong niya, syempre uso dati duty free, 'di ba?
Yeah.
And ang normal na pasalubong is what do you call this? Pabango. So what he would do is every time he would come home from abroad, mga business trip niya, pag-uwi niya, may parati siyang dala na pabango for my mom. Ang problem is, yung mom na mahilig sa pabango. Pero yun parati pa rin yung binibigay ng daddy ko. So my sister and I, what we would do was, since ayaw gamitin ng mom namin, kasi masyado daw maganda yung bottles, nang hinayang siya gamitin eh.
Mm-mm.
Di ba? Pag maganda, parang ayaw nyo gamitin, right? So, ginagawa namin ng sister ko, after namin maligo before going to bed, kami yung gumagamit. So, basically, the love for fragrances really started when we were young. Tapos, parang nakalakihan na namin na ganun. And then, eventually, because yun nga, my parents owned a chemical company, when I graduated from college, my French company that was looking for a representative here sa Philippines. So, sabi ng dad ko sa akin, oh, why don't you join the meeting? Sabi ko, sa head ko parang, sige, libreng pagkain din. So, malay mo, pogi yung princess, di ba?
Yeah.
So, sama ako. And it just so happened na it was a really interesting meeting. And a month after, they awarded my parents' company the distributorship. So sabi ng dad ko, oh, if you want the job, you can handle this one. So sabi ko, syempre, parang for me, okay, may trabaho na ako, di ba? Hindi na ako naghanap. So medyo handed to me. But what I didn't realize was that here in the Philippines kasi, ang gusto ng mga Pilipino is always ano yung uso sa abroad, ano yung sikat na designers, 'di ba? Eventually, parang I got a bit bored, kumbaga, kasi every time pupunta ka ng client, basically tindera ako ng pabango na ginagamit for soaps, for detergent,
Mm.
for fabric softener. So
Mm-mm.
hindi kami nagde-distribute ng perfumes na nakikita niyo in the market.
Yeah.
What we supply um was raw materials.
Yeah.
Until now, ganun pa rin naman yung business. Pero yun nga, I eventually got bored kasi yung mga gusto ng kliyente namin are kunyari fabric softener na company.
Mm.
Gusto nila is brand X
Yeah.
na meron sa supermarket.
Mm-mm.
So gagawa sila ng same na scent, ganon. So parang every time we went to clients, ganon yung gusto nila. Tapos parang ako, shocks, walang creativity involved here. So medyo na ko, parang iba yung nasa isip ko na magiging trabaho ko in the fragrance industry and iba yung naging ginagawa ko. So because of that, I really wanted to pursue learning about fragrances. And yun, dun ako nag-aral about fragrances when my sister was still studying in New York. So sabi ko, I'll take advantage na may titirahan na yun. Parang may lodging na dun and all. So punta ako dun, I studied for a couple of months. And then pagbalik ko, sobra rin akong nagulat na iba yung industriya dito talaga. So yun, I tried to adapt and eventually parang ang na-pursue ko talaga is really the creation process. So gusto ko gumagawa ako or tumutulong ako sa brands that can, use fragrances as their advantage at saka as a part of their branding. So it's not just the products na nilalagyan ng scent. So kunyari hotels,
Mm-mm.
'di ba, properties, retail stores that want their signature fragrances para memorable for their guests or their clients. So yun, dun ako mas naging parang yun yung inclination ko talaga. Kaya din ako nag-aral ng perfumery.
Mm-mm.
Yun.
So after New York, you went to Europe.
Our partner actually is based in France.
Oh.
Yon. So nag-visit din kami sa kanila, but my training was under a British perfumer
Mm-mm.
who has a school in Thailand. Yon.
Oh.
So siniksik ko siya kasi I took up perfumery school a few months before my wedding. So
Oh.
inano ko siya, minake sure ko na tinapos ko. Kasi if I went to France, it would take me 2 years to go through the entire course. So parang I didn't want naman na ma-hold yung wedding because of that, diba? So yun, I looked for the perfumery school that had good credentials and at the same time kasha dun sa schedule ko.
Oo.
Yun.
Because you were also preparing for your wedding then.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Sabi, you mentioned a while ago na, di ba, your dad owns actually a chemical company. And this is actually the first time
Mm-mm.
na you mentioned, maganda kasing sinabi mo tumutulong ka sa pagbabrand ng mga properties like hotels to have their own
Yes.
parang scent or, alam mo yun, bango. Which is really something
Yes.
new for a lot of people like me. What
Really?
Yeah, oo, kasi
Oo.
medyo nagulat ako, 'di ba? We brand of course the hotels, yung the people, but
Mm-mm.
something about the fragrance is really something new and very interesting. So, ang ganda.
Right,
So,
right.
kailan nyo inumpisahan ng sister nyo? Because you co-founded BC Fragrance. When did you actually start and when did
Mm-mm.
you realize that it's time for you guys to start your own business apart from what you have with your family?
Good question. Actually, medyo blurred yan. So, walang parang there's no parang point talaga na sinabi namin, okay, ano na, uh, parang we have to separate it. It was really parang, paano ba, nag-progress lang siya that way na naging malaki na din, or hindi naman malaki, pero naging kaya na namin maging independent in terms of, operating the business. Meron na rin kami sarili naming accounting, meron na processes that were quite different from what the parent company was doing. So ako kasi, my belief really in business is that you're not building a business to sell products. It's not just that. When you make a business or when you establish a business, it's really establishing systems. So, pag may nakuha ka na project, ano yung step 1, step 2, alam mo yun, parang it's
Yeah.
a very logical process dapat, at least for me. Na kailangan na gagawa din ng ibang, tao sa company mo. So, hindi ganon kasi yung sa parents ko. So, mas hands-on sila doon. Ako kasi parang I wanted to create a system that would run even without me. Yun. So, at that point, I think we started working on parang separating na talaga as a separate entity itself. Mga, I think 20 but yung mga incorporation papers, lahat yan, 2015 na lang siya lumabas. Actually, just in time for my 30th birthday.
So, sabi mo, di ba, nag-decide na kayo ng sister mo, gusto mo ng
Yun.
system.
So, birthday actually ng company namin on paper is same as my birthday.
Wow! So, very memorable talaga siya. So, after nag-BC, because you said you wanted to set up a company na pwedeng mag-run kahit na wala kayo. Basta tuloy-tuloy lang dahil may sistema. Anong sunod na company na sinet up mo? Ayan. Mga kababayan, ganyan po talaga pag live. Lagi po sa atin ito nangyayari.
Sorry,
so,
sorry.
No, it's okay. Talagang ganyan kapag live.
So,
no, it's okay. So, talagang nangyayari to kahit na
alam
sa
nilang
amin.
live tayo, no?
Oo, live na live. At least, di ba, talagang live na live. Ayan.
Sorry about that.
No, it's okay.
Where were we? Hindi ko na sure kung hanggang saan yung narinig mo.
My question actually was, after BC Fragrance, diba? Because you have several companies. Ano yung sinet up mo after BC Fragrance?
Actually, BC Fragrance, 2015 na siya na-incorporate. And then, 2017, Scentful Living also. Basically, it's all under the so Scentful Living is a home fragrance brand naman that I started basically because I got pregnant na. Tapos 2017 to, I was pregnant, and then, well, number one, medyo pag buntis, 'di ba, medyo sensitive sa scents, ganyan. Pero gusto ko kasi parati mabango yung house. So I was experimenting on making fragrances just for me na magugustuhan ko even if preggy, tsaka alam mo yun, parang gusto ko may malinis yung bahay, ganyan. So I just started experimenting on that, and then eventually ganun pa rin, same sa start ng BC Fragrance, pinangregalo namin yung mga products, tapos we started selling sa bazaar, yun. So that was 2017, yun. So 2017 actually, hindi ko alam kung workaholic lang ba ako or what. Pero the day that I gave birth, that was a Friday. It was also ingress for one of the events. So, pagkagising ko ng umaga, nanganak ako madaling araw eh. Tapos, nung nagising na ako sa recovery room, parang sabi ko, oh wait, nakapag-ingress sila, ano itsura nung booth ganyan.
Wow, grabe. So, parang lahat ng negosyo mo very memorable, no? Kasi sabi mo, di ba, yung sa BC Fragrance, you started at birthday mo.
Yeah.
Now, there's another one.
Oo.
So, yung Scentful Living yun, no? Kailan mo naman inumpisahan yung Scentpinoy something?
Scent Studio.
Scent
Studio. Yeah. So, Scent Studio was really it is still a passion project for me, kasi my real advocacy for Scent Studio is that to make perfumery more accessible and more understandable in layman's terms. Okay, kasi ang perfumery, when you try to learn it, it's really a lot of chemistry involved and a lot of, parang molecules, stuff like this. So, parang if regular na tao ka, parang it's very intimidating, 'di ba? Parang shock saan ako magsisimula. Chem yan, wala akong alam sa chemistry. So, I just really wanted to introduce the concept of, parang yeah, you can mix different fragrances to create something that would be uniquely yours. Yun. So, actually, yung Scent Studio, wala yan sa plano talaga. But it just so happened that SM North Towers was opening a new, SM North EDSA was opening a new wing. Tapos, they were offering me the space for a really, really low rental rate. So, sabi ko, shocks, ito na ba yun? Parang pwede ko na ba gawin yung project ko? Kasi at that time, I was doing consecutive workshops na monthly ganyan, and then I was looking for a more parang permanent space where I can hold my workshops. So at least ito nasa mall, hindi problema parking, hindi problema pagkain kung nagutom yung attendee, 'di ba? So um yung parang yun na yung naging sign for me na yeah, maybe this would be a good experiment to see if it would work. And the first, actually, second year namin, kaka-second year lang namin this year. So, I'm very thankful that the concept is accepted by people, and it piqued interest kasi with a lot of people who are into fragrances. So, yung mga mahilig sa pabango, even nga yung mga hindi mahilig sa pabango parang naku-curious lang sila and then they get hooked. Tapos babalik-balik sila to create their own scents. So, yun, parang nakakatuwa din to meet people because when you see them create fragrances in the studio, may kita mo talaga na parang, ayoko to. Pero pag may naamoy sila na gusto nila, talagang magic in their eyes, makikita mo So, parang nakakatuwa din.
Sa tingin ko, sabi mo nga nakakatuwa kasi 2 years pa lang, 'di ba? Yung sa Sense Studio. Yung sa 2 years na yon,
Yes.
paano mo na-entice yung sinasabi mo yung ordinary people na gusto mo talagang alam mo yun, maging merkado? Paano mo sila na-entice to be in your studio and learn about fragrances?
Actually, a lot of them have seen our Facebook page na. Majority of the people who go into the studio are interested in fragrances. Yung mga taong na-entice to go there, either may kilala sila na nakapunta na doon that na parang or nagpo-post sila sa sarili nilang Facebook or Instagram page na they made their own fragrance. Yung iba naman gumagawa doon as regalo, tapos yung niregaluhan nila, parang gusto ko pa gumawa ng isang ganyan. So yun, ganun yung parang word of mouth lang usually. And actually, nagulat ako before kasi hindi ako masyado active on Facebook. So, yung nagulat ako na tinag ako one time sa isang medyo malaking community ng fragrance enthusiasts dito sa Philippines. Tapos apparently, ang dami na pala sa kanila na nakapunta na sa studio. So, I didn't know. Doon ko lang nalaman nung may nagtag na sa akin. So, yun, parang doon ko nakita na, shocks, meron pala talagang community that are interested in perfumery, in perfumes in general that they can buy in the market. Meron din naman na, yun, basically, parang ganun, recommendations lang talaga siya. Yan.
May effect ba ngayong pandemic? Kasi 'di ba, you have like a studio in SM North. Oo, kamusta ang effect nito sa
Yes.
pandemic?
Grabe. Grabe ang effect. Well, when the pandemic started, it was March. It was supposed to be our first anniversary.
Oh.
So canceled. Canceled anniversary. Yeah, we were only allowed to open, I think, May. So, may 1.5 months na closed kami. So, syempre, di ba, parang wala kang sales. We're very fortunate lang talaga that parang ever since, nakakabawi din kahit papano. So, totoo lang, everyday pinagdadasal ko na, alam mo yun, may benta sana, may naglalakad sana sa mall, yung mga ganyan. Kasi retail really now is grabe. If you just rely on foot traffic without, marketing your business, medyo mahirap. So, kailangan mas aggressive in spreading the word about your business there. And kami, honestly, we're using the Scent Studio now as a pickup point for our customers who buy raw materials and those who want to create their own blends for products that they are selling. So, parang, para lang hindi kami mag-rely on customers that are just passing by. Kasi kung ganon yung negosyo mo, medyo mahirap talaga ngayon if you're mall-based. So, yan, we tried to not really pivot because in the first place, yung Scent Studio, we have liquid hand sanitizers that they can put the fragrance in. So make your own scent for your hand sanitizers, make your own perfumes for your make your own scent for your own perfumes and colognes or room spray. So very thankful pa rin kami na somehow we are surviving. Tapos yun din na ang pinaka pinupush na lang namin talaga ngayon is that if you need space to create or learn about fragrances for your business, then the studio is open for you.
You mentioned na yun yung pinaka na yung studio is open. Do you conduct Zoom classes do sa mga gustong, alam mo yun, matuto about sa fragrances?
Yes. Actually ngayon, medyo sinuwerte din ako kasi before the pandemic started, di ba pandemic 2020, right? 2019, I started Zoom classes already.
Oh.
So, alam mo, medyo na nga ako, parang ang galing ng mga timing sa akin kasi I was parang getting ready to transition into, courses that are self-paced. People can just sign up and then, send the materials to them. Tapos they can do it at their own time.
Yeah.
Yun yung idea ko initially. So parang I set up the program na, the online course, gano'n. So nung nag-pandemic, medyo hindi ako ganun ka nahirapan to transition because I was already doing it. So ngayon, we have an active course called Artisan Perfumery. I am holding it under the SOFA Design Institute in Makati. So ano siya before? The School of Fashion and Arts.
Yeah.
Yun. Ano pa ba? This June 11, we will be starting the Business of Scents course or the EntrePinoy business course. So yun naman, ano difference nung dalawa? The Artisan Perfumery is basically creating your own fragrances. So I teach them the basic principles, the different classifications of fragrances, how to make your own perfume, really the formulation part. The Business of Scents course naman focuses on how to establish your scent-based business. So if you want to create perfumes, colognes, room sprays, candles, soaps, anything scented really, that is in the home fragrance or in the personal care market, then they can sign up for the course. I will help you build it from scratch. Or if you already have an existing business, then we can troubleshoot your business in terms of branding, in terms of product development, in terms of costing. Dami pa, it's 9 sessions. So 9 sessions of 2 hours each. Yeah. So for both courses, grabe, super sulit for whoever will be signing up.
9 sessions for 2 hours each session.
Yes.
So, sabi mo kanina, di ba, you can actually help people kung ano yung gusto nilang scent, matuturuan mo talaga sila. What are the considerations na kailangan nilang isipin for them to come up with their own scent? Tapos, or business na katulad ng related sa perfume?
Okay. Number one is if they already have their own business, number one is ano ba yung goal mo with the fragrance? Kasi yung iba, syempre hindi natin may iwasan. There are really people who want to start a perfume business, and the easiest is to just, use designer inspired fragrances. So ito yung nakikita nyo na inspired by Jo Malone, inspired by
Yeah.
Ralph Lauren, inspired by Paris Hilton, yung mga ganyan. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's part of business kasi depende kung ano yung goal mo sa negosyo eh. Kung gusto mo madali ka makapag-start, madali ka rin makabenta, then by all means do that. Pero meron din kasing iba that really want to create their own signature scents. It's a more tedious process, but at the same time, if people like the fragrances that you create, that only you have, 'di ba? Parang captured market mo na sila. So,
Yeah.
yun yung one consideration. The second is how much time and resources can you dedicate for the craft. So, ganun din. If may oras kang mag-develop, if hindi ka nagmamadali to put up your business, then you have time to do R&D, you have to do time to do experiments, 'di ba? So, yun, isang factor din yun. The third, I think, is really the expense. Kasi hindi natin may iwasan na if you are trying to develop products, kailangan mo bumilis, 'di ba? So, factor yun talaga. If tight ka on a budget, then might as well, dun ka na sa tried and tested na fragrances that are moving. So, paano mo mahanap? Tingin ka lang sa Shopee. Ano yung umaandar sa mga, di ba,
Yes.
existing brands.
It's a very good
Hindi, totoo
advice.
naman eh.
Yes,
Like,
yes,
di ba?
yes. Mm-mm.
Para makita mo, ano yung mabilis mabenta. Tingnan mo sa Shopee, ano yung maraming benta, right? But pag ganun kasi yung approach, magpapatayan lang kayo sa presyo because a lot of your customers would just be comparing, like, kanino ako pwede kumuha na mas mura. So, yun yung isang na lang nila, isipin din nila if they want to go into the fragrance business. Yeah,
You've
so
mentioned
three
about,
things, yun nga.
sige.
Yeah, sige, go ahead.
Sige, sige. Magandang sabi mo. Yung, sige. Please, yung sa three
Ayan,
things.
so summarize ko lang yung three things.
Yeah.
One is the branding nga, kung ano yung gusto nilang ma-push, designer-inspired na tried and tested or artisanal na sila yung gagawa. Number 2 is time, and number 3 is really budget.
Okay. Yung sa pangalawa, because you mentioned about time. Kasi syempre, I'm pretty sure na marami ang gustong mag-create ng sarili nilang scent. When we talk about time, gaano ba ito katagal?
Depende. Depende sa skill and depende sa tiyaga.
Oh.
Yan talaga, factor yung tiyaga. Because ngayon, 'di ba, I'm running a perfumery course, artisan perfumery course with SOFA. Like 90% of my students are not happy with the blends that they have made in the 2 sessions that we've had for blending.
Oh.
Okay, so yeah, iba kasi yung nasa head mo na idea mo for a fragrance that you want to create. And pag nandyan na yung materials mo, ibe-blend mo siya, hindi ganun yung kakalabasan agad eh. Kasi you really have to study the different materials that you're going to use before you come up with, an acceptable fragrance. Kailangan i-understand mo yung properties ng scent na gagamitin mo. Right? So, maybe for beginners, it would take a while. But if medyo gamay mo na yung materials na meron ka, it would take a shorter period of time. I think it's the same for like painters, 'di ba? Pag nagpa-paint ka, di mo pa alam paano mo gagawin yung colors, paano mo gagawin yung strokes, paano mo gagawin yung overall picture that you want to create. But if marunong ka na, you know the different techniques, you know how to control, how to add white, black, para mag-come up ka with other textures and other colors, di ba? Mas mabilis ka nang makakagawa. So, I think it's the same for any other skill. You really need practice and yun nga, tiyaga. Kung walang tiyaga talaga, medyo alanganin tayo.
Sa lahat yun. And the third one, siguro hindi na gustong malaman ng iba, no? Kasi di ba, branding, time. The third one is yung
Uh-huh.
expense na nabanggit mo. How much,
Yeah.
could you give us like, actually an estimated lang, magkano ang kailangan nilang i-prepare for them to actually venture into this type of business?
To be honest, 1,000 pesos you can start selling na with just 1,000 pesos. But of course, maliit lang yung quantity na magagawa mo,
Mm-mm.
right? Um, Depende din yan sa scale ng gusto mong ibenta or kung gaano kadami yung gusto mong ibenta na produkto. If you want to sell just to your, co-workers in the office or sa family mo, gustong pang regalo, lalo na upcoming Christmas, di ba? Then maybe you can start with 1,000 pesos and see if pag nabenta mo ba yun, magkano yung bumalik sa'yo. Di ba? Tapos ipuhunan mo na lang siya ulit.
Mm-mm.
Ang 1,000 pesos mo can already buy you maybe around 20 bottles, materials for 20 bottles ng cologne or room spray.
But that's
Yeah. So,
using an
medyo ano na
existing
yon.
scent na yon.
Yes, using
Oo.
an existing fragrance.
Pero kapag kunwari, 'di ba you mentioned kanina, yung sa sa'yo, sa course mo, how much do they need to
Uh-uh.
prepare if they want actually to come up with their
Ah,
own blend?
create their own scent.
Mm.
5 ml bottles would be around 100, 120 pesos average. Ang ideal palette to start would be around 15 to 20 materials just so you would have different options. So, mga 2,000 pesos. But that's just the oils. Wala pa yung pipette, wala pa yung
Mm.
accessories mo na mga beaker, di ba? Wala pa yung alcohol mo. Yun, so medyo, sabihin na natin 3 to 3.5 to come up with different raw materials that you can play around with. Yun.
Wow.
Mga
That's
3 to
actually very reasonable.
3,500.
Sobrang
Oh,
reasonable
yeah.
lalo na
It's not
ngayon.
too bad. It's not too bad. Mm-mm.
Mm. Um,
Actually, maraming candle makers na nagugulat na parang, pwede pala. Na hindi pala ganun kahirap and hindi ganun kahirap bumili and hindi ganun ka mahal yung craft.
Oo
Yeah.
nga eh. Medyo nagulat din ako with the estimated amount that you have mentioned. Kung 3,000, kayang-kaya ng mga tao to start their own business.
Yes.
Lalo na sa panahon ngayon. Anong advice mo? Because it's actually past 8:30. Anong advice mo doon sa mga gustong mag-business ng perfume na nag-iisip pa ngayon? At lalo na ngayon, di ba, maraming mga home businesses na gustong mag-umpisa
Yes.
at anytime or anywhere you can sell na online. Nabanggit mo na si Shopee, si Lazada kanina.
First is you establish ano ba yung goals mo for putting up the business. Kasi that will be the number one factor in terms of ano yung parang saan ka magsisimula. So, kunyari, ang goal ko is to replace my current income sa work kasi gusto ko na magstay at home. So, magkano yung kailangan mong kitain from your perfume business, di ba? So, yun yung number one, parati na sinasabi ko. Establish muna or try to figure out ano ba talaga yung goal mo for putting up the business. Is it because you want to do this as a hobby? Diba? Na gusto mo lang i-share with other people? Do you want to get more funds? Let's say, pangluho mo ba siya? Or educational fund? Or diba? Iba-iba naman kasi tayo ng rason eh. So, just put a specific figure na kailangan mo talaga or why you are doing it. Para meron kang goal. Yun. So, yun yung isa. And then, the second one is, tiyaga. Pagtiyagaan nyo ang mag-experiment because it requires a lot of experiment also. And then, number 3 is, ano ba ang marirecommend ko? If you are thinking of doing a fragrance business, now is the best time to create home fragrances because everyone is staying home. So, lahat ng tao, kung hindi niyo napapansin gaano kabilis lumaki si homebodies, 'di ba? So, um, yun, lahat ng tao ngayon staying home, they want to create a more conducive ambiance, either for work from home or studying at home or just generally bombing at home, lalo na ngayon summer, 'di ba? So, ano yung mga produkto na puwedeng makatulong sa mga customers nyo or ano yung mga puwedeng magagamit nila that can help them feel more comfortable at home, relaxed, soothed, calm, 'di ba? So ano yung mga ganong products that they can use. Yun, dun sila mag-focus muna because of course perfumes are still there. There are still people who use perfumes even if they are staying home. Hindi natin matatanggal yan because perfumes or fragrances in general make people feel good, 'di ba? So, 'yun yung isa doon. And then basta 'yun yung pinaka i-focus ninyo. Ano yung mga products or ano yung mga products that can help your target customers or your target market sa bahay nila. Yan.
So, yung tatlong yon. Oo.
Okay na ba yun?
Yes. Last question bago kita, before I request you to invite everyone. Kung ikaw ay perfume, doon sa lahat ng mga ginawa mo, because you have you mentioned 3 businesses. Among those perfumes that you probably blended or kung ano man yung ginawa mo, ano ikaw? Anong
What do you
favorite
mean?
mo? And I mean, how do you describe the perfume na si Bernadette? Yes. Ano ikaw? Kasi I'm pretty sure that you blended, several perfumes or fragrances. Anong magde-describe
Yes.
sa'yo na
For
fragrance?
different brands.
Yes.
Ako na fragrance. Paano ba? Something that would have really good tenacity. Na ano pa ba? Medyo shocks, mahirap yung tanong mo Hindi ko in-expect yan Something that is subtle but of quality. Like, yung hindi mo alam na nandyan, pero may purpose pala siya.
I like
Or
it.
something that would be beneficial without you knowing that it's there.
Wow, that's a very
So, invisible
good one.
ako.
Invisible, pero nandyan with the purpose nga. And I guess you're doing really a very good one helping people, especially the EntrePinoys na gusto talagang magnegosyo. So, thank you so much. Please invite everyone to visit your site para doon sa mga gusto magnegosyo.
Doon sa mga gustong mag-business, we still have slots available for the Business of Scent course. So if you are interested, you can DM me through Instagram. My handle is @thefragrancepecialist, or you can also message our Instagram or our Facebook page, BC Fragrance. Tapos if you are looking for home fragrances naman that you can use at home to feel more relaxed, 'di ba? Or even energized if you need to be boost ng energy pang work, pang school, what have you, you can visit Scentful Living. And to those naman who are interested in just blending fragrances or exploring scents, you can go to the Scent Studio at SM North Towers, at the ground floor of SM North Towers. Yon.
Wow, thank you so much.
You.
Thank you. I will definitely get in touch with you personally. Mag-message din ako sa'yo. But thank you so much for your time. We've actually learned so much today. Una, sabi ko kanina, ang galing kasi, of course, alam natin when we talk about branding, companies, consumer products, but never about the fragrance. So it's something new.
Fragrance, yes.
So, which is napaka-importante, lalo na sa mga companies that you have mentioned. Yun.
Right.
You've also mentioned about starting capital for a perfume business. So 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, very affordable for everyone, lalo na ngayong pandemic. And we're pretty sure na maganda rin yung ROI nun.
Yes.
Yun. So, yun. Mga kababayan, please don't forget to visit our portal. It's www.angpinoy.net. We will try to write a short article about our interview tonight. We will probably get more details if we need from Miss Bernadette Lim. And this episode will also be uploaded at our YouTube channel, Ang Pinoy channel. So, magkita-kita po tayo ulit ngayong Thursday for another episode of Ang Pinoy Live. Our topic would be about lupus, and we will have a doctor actually who will talk about lupus. So magkita-kita po ulit
Wow.
tayo 8 o'clock. This is Chasel, and thank you so much. Thank you, Bernadette. Good
Thank you. Good
night.
night.
Thank you.